Hey everybody, Josie here, and today I'm about to watch the new Mummy movie starring Tom Cruise. And just before I actually go and watch it, I want to give a few my thoughts and expectations on this movie. It's like I don't know, the trailers make it seem more like an action movie as opposed to a horror film, and I'm all for it, but I do hope there are some thrills and some tension, that I think that make this movie stand out. But from the trailer, it just looks Mission Impossible, like a Mission Impossible movie, which I love Mission Impossible, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. But if they do manage to pull off some scares, I'd be very surprised, and I think it will elevate this movie way more. So yeah, let me go watch it, and then I'll tell you guys what I think about it after I'm out. Okay, so I just got out of the movie, and I, I'm just gonna say it. This movie is not all that great. It starts off really cool because after you're introduced to this narration done by Russell Crowe's character, and he talks about the mummy and her origin, um which that stuff is cool because in this, I think it's like probably like around 3 to 4 minutes of exposition, but it's kind of you're kind of shown the origin of the mummy, how why she got mummified, what she did to do it, how she got cursed and all this stuff. And that stuff is really cool because right off the bat you're introduced to the villain, her motivations, and what led her uh to become evil, or or whatever. So while she doesn't have a lot of depth, she does have motives, and they're very clear, and she has her mindset, and this is what she has to do, and all this stuff. So okay, after that, we're introduced to like a to Tom Cruise's character, and this is where the movie where I thought I was in for a good time because as soon as you're introduced to Tom Cruise, um, the movie is great when he's on screen. And this whole opening sequence, it's like it's an action sequence, but it's done for laughs. It's very funny, and Tom Cruise is just like oozing with charisma, right? He's great. He's on screen, and he looks like he's having a good time, and the actor who's with him, he's having a good time, and this whole part's great. So I thought I was in for a good time. It felt very. If you guys played the Uncharted games, it felt very like that. It felt like he was Nathan Drake, and the whole scene until he finds a tomb. It felt very Uncharted to me. After that, they find, like I said, they find the tomb. They unknowingly release this evil curse. Tom Cruise gets cursed, and all this stuff happens. It's very crazy. Um, and the movie kind of drops a bit as soon as they take the sarcophagus and they put it on the plane because um without spoiling too much, some guy gets infected or something, and he's very clearly sick. He's got like very visible veins popping out. He's very pale. He's gone like literally like 4 shades lighter, and nobody notices. Like, he's sitting next to people, he's interacting with people, but nobody notices. And at this point, that was like the first warning sign that this movie was not going to be all that great. But it was very enjoyable still. So I'm all like, okay, maybe it's just one minor thing. And then after the plane crashes, there's a few other stuff that happens. Um, but the movie drops as soon as you're reintroduced to Russell Crowe's character. Now, if you guys are aware, the Mummy is Universal's attempt to start this monster universe with their Universal monsters, because they have all these properties. They got the Wolfman, you got Frankenstein, the Mummy, Dracula, and a bunch of other creatures, right? That they're planning to make movies for and create like this universe, this shared universe with all these creatures. And I think that's pretty cool. But unfortunately, at the middle of this movie, the movie we've been watching kind of takes the sidelines, and then we start introducing elements that aren't really gonna come into play into the other movies, and it felt very Iron Man 2 to me, where you're where when Samuel Jackson shows up and about talking about the Avengers Initiative, and it just kind of brings that movie down. The same thing happened here, and um, unlike with Iron Man 2, where we were already invested in Iron Man, so we could at least watch it, even though it's not all that great. Right here, we don't know these creatures, we don't know these characters yet. So you're bringing that right here in your very first movie. That was a very big misstep, and it felt like they were trying to run before they could even crawl. And they don't completely stumble. They don't completely fall on their face because Tom Cruise is so charismatic and he's very likable throughout the whole movie. But it feels like Tom Cruise is in a better movie than what he's actually in because he's acting his ass off and he's being hilarious and funny. But nobody else is. That actress who plays his love interest, I honestly I googled her name after I got out and I already forgot it. And honestly, I wish I could forget about her forever because she is terrible in this movie. Honestly, I feel like the mummy was not the villain, but this girl's acting was the main villain for this movie. It brought this whole movie down, in my opinion. Even if the script was bad, um, I think a good actress would have made those lines more believable. Because Tom Cruise has some of those same lines, very similar, but his delivery is great, you know. But then she delivers the same lines, and they're so wooden and flat, and it's just like, and the ending of this movie, in order for it to work, you have to believe these two characters have chemistry. They don't. They have zero on-screen chemistry. So at the climax and the ending of this film, whatever what happens happens. I'm not gonna spoil it. Um, it kind of it's it needs you to believe. It needs you to believe in these two characters, but you don't because she delivers nothing. So therefore, that ending falls flat. You know. Um, and I don't want to completely trash this movie because there are some very cool stuff in here. Like the mummy, she has this power she could control like corpses and stuff and they're like these mummified uh monsters or people and it's really cool because the first time you see them Tom Cruise's expressions are like most of ours like you're like kind of grossed out and then he punches one in the face and then his reaction is really funny because he starts wiping his hand off and he looks like he's completely grossed out and yeah, that sort of stuff is really cool. You get sort of stuff like that and some really cool moments here and there but ultimately by the end of it towards the end it's just where things are supposed to be uh you're supposed to raise the stakes. It doesn't. You don't really care. um and this whole thing about one of the biggest draws was it's the mummy in modern age and they really don't do anything because you're pretty much in very few locations that are very empty. There's only like one set piece where which you see in the trailers where it's all the sand going to London. But honestly, what you see in the trailer, that's pretty much all that happens. That's over pretty quick and nothing really happens. I don't even think anybody died or anybody got hurt. It's just there's everyone just got sand all of a sudden. Now I will say if Anakin Skywalker was there in London, then I feel pretty bad because we all know how much he hates sand. But I think everyone else is like, oh, whatever, just take a shower. Um, Another one thing that I thought was really cool and very well done, and it's in the beginning of the movie, because Tom Cruise gets cursed. You kind of gather that from the trailer because he survives that plane crash or whatever, or comes back to life. And there's this thing where his mind is kind of linked to the mummies because they're kind of linked together for plot reasons, and you see kind of losing his mind and the way the director did those scenes of him trying to and the way he portrayed him losing his mind and unaware of what's going on, that stuff was great. I thought that was amazing the way it's done where he kind of zones out and then when he comes to he's in somewhere else, but it that all that aspect of the movie was great. But I'm telling you, the trying to set up the dark universe, it just it it's the crux of this movie. It just makes it fail. So yeah, this movie was not terrible. There's just some very bad stuff going on, and I think it's skippable. You could skip this. You don't need to watch this. There's plenty of other movies out right now that are better. If you haven't seen Wonder Woman, go watch that. If you've seen Wonder Woman, you're probably better off watching it again. Um, and yeah, so just wait for if you really are curious about this, then I'm not gonna stop you. Go ahead. But I think you could wait till it's like on Netflix or Redbox. You could rent it. And yeah, there's no need to rush this. Well, and one other thing before I go. I thought this was pretty cool. And they had some pretty cool Easter eggs hidden in this movie. I'm not gonna spoil the movie. Some of them you can't see in the trailers, and one of them was they got the skull of like a Dracula or like a vampire. It's pretty. I thought it was pretty cool because you see it's just a skull but has the fangs. I thought that was cool. In that same scene, I believe I saw the creature of the Black Lagoon inside of a jar. So if you are going to see this movie, watch out for the jars in the scene when you go back to meet Russell Crowe again, and let me know if you see the creature of the Black Lagoon. I think it's just the light playing tricks on me, but I want to know. I want to confirm if it actually was there, or if I'm just making things up. Um, and then there's also a pretty cool nod to the Brandon Fraser mummy movies. So I'm not gonna say what it is, but just keep an eye out. And I thought that was pretty cool. It's just appears and then it disappears pretty fast. But I thought it was cool. Other than that, yeah, just wait for this to be like I said on Netflix or on TNT. This is one of those movies that I think is gonna be on TNT pretty soon. So yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. And oh, also let me know if you guys are excited for this dark universe. Excited for this dark universe, but I think they should really focus on these movies as standalones because it's kind of reminds me of kind of like what DC is trying to do, where they're just kind of trying to rush the universe first before they actually develop anything. And this, well, I don't think this stumbles as much as what DC has done. Um, it does suffer because it tries to do way too much when you had the potential of a very cool movie and you try to do way too much. So yeah, let me know what you guys think and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.